Hello, this is Mr. Merlo for lesson 7-5, polynomials. Alright, this might be a difficult lesson just because of all the vocab. Once you know the vocab, it's not going to be that difficult. It's just going to be kind of like listing all the answers that it could be. So as long as you have your book or can remember these things, it should be okay. So like I said, these are the vocab words that we need to know. So monomial, mono means one, and then you have like binomial meaning two, and trinomial meaning three. So that's just asking how many parts of the problems there are. So if you have like a 2x plus a 2y, well, there's two parts in there, so it's a binomial. If you have like a 4x plus a 5x plus a 6x, that would be like a trinomial because there would be three different things there. But if you just had like a 12x, monomial, one kind of thing. And we'll go through some of these other ones as we go. So, like I said, those are my monomials, and they have to be whole numbers. So things like this are not monomials. Okay. Degree of a monomial is the sum of the exponents of the variables. So you're basically just looking at the sum of the biggest exponent, basically. So if I have something like this, so 4p to the fourth q to the third, the degree is 7 because there's 4 p's and 3 q's. Here, 7ed, the degree is going to be 2 because 1 for e and 1 for d. And then for c, it's going to be 0 because there's no exponents there. If this were separated, let's say this was like 4p to the fourth plus q to the third, then that would change it. So then my degree of the monomial would just be 4 because p to the 4 is going to be bigger than q to the 3. So like here, k has 2, m has 1, so it's going to be 3. X just has 1, so it's going to be 1. C has 3, so it's going to be 3. Okay, polynomials, we talked about many. So mono means 1, poly means more than 1, basically. So if we're looking at here, the degree of the polynomial is going to be this 7 because of the x to the 7. Okay. Here we have a w2 and a z, so there's a 3 there, but the degree of this polynomial is going to be 4 because even though there's 3 variables here, 4 is going to be bigger than 3. Here we're just going to have one polynomial or one degree because of the 1x. Here we have a tie, so we have x to the third and y to the second, which is going to be 5, and then x to the second, y to the third, which is still going to be 5. So the degree is just going to be 5. You can have more than one. X to the fifth plus y to the fifth plus z to the fifth is still going to be a degree of 5. Okay, standard form. So you should be writing all your answers and all the things from now on in descending order with the leading coefficient. Okay, so how all these are written, where the x is first. So it's not technically wrong to write -6 plus 5x, but you really should be writing it with that x being first and the biggest x being first. Okay, so something like this. So 6x minus 7x to the fifth plus 4x squared plus 9. Well, since the degree of this -7x to the fifth is the largest, it should really be going first. So you kind of see down here it's written correctly. So -7x to the fifth goes first. Okay, x squared is the next biggest one, so you'll see how that comes next. And then 6x is the next biggest one because it at least has 1. And then 9 is the last one because 9 doesn't have any variables with it. Sometimes the books might ask you what the leading coefficient is. And the leading coefficient is this number. So it could be 1 if it's just an x to the fifth. But it's this number in front of your biggest x. So since -7 is in front of the x to the fifth, then it would be a -7. Let's say, x squared was biggest, pretend this x to the fifth wasn't there, then my leading coefficient would be 4. Let's pretend both of those weren't there, and the 6x was the biggest coefficient, or the biggest exponent, then my coefficient would be 6. Okay, so something like this, we'll just say that, I won't rewrite them in order, but x to the 6th is going to be the biggest one, And remember that you just can't have a y by itself, so it's just going to be a 1 as leading coefficient. Same thing here. Excuse me. X to the 5th is going to be my biggest coefficient, or my biggest exponent, so 1 is going to be my leading coefficient again. Here, 8 is my biggest exponent. Okay, bigger than y to the 5th, bigger than 14y. So -3 is going to be my leading coefficient there. This is where the symbol vocab comes into play. So if I have something with a degree of 0, so it's just 7, then that's going to be a constant. If I have like 7x, then it's going to be linear. If I have 7x squared, it's going to be quadratic. If I have 7x cubed, it's going to be cubic, and so on and so on. And then here's my number of terms. So if I have like 7x plus 7y, it's going to be a binomial because there's 2 of them there. If I just have a 7x, it's going to be monomial. 7x plus 7y plus 7z is going to be a trinomial. More than that is going to be a polynomial. Okay, so practicing some of these. So my degree is 3 because it's n to the 3rd. There are 2 terms. So since my degree is 3, it's going to be cubic, like a cube. Has, length, width, and depth. And there's 2 of them, so it's going to be a binomial. Here my degree is 6 because of the y to the 6th there. So it's the 6th degree. So remember, if we go back, if it's more than 6, it's just going to be to the 6th degree. And it's more than 3 terms. So remember, anything more than 3 terms is going to be a polynomial. This one only has a degree of 1 and a term of 1. So a degree of 1 and a term of 1 should be a linear monomial. Keep going with these. So x to the 3rd is going to be my degree, 4 terms, so it's a cubic polynomial. No degree, 1 term, just the 6th, so it's a constant monomial. Here we go, a degree of 8 in terms of 3, so an 8th degree trinomial. So I would suggest definitely keeping this somewhere, writing this down so you can remember all these, and then you can kind of just look at the chart of, okay, it has a degree of 2, and it's, has 1 term, so I know it's going to be a quadratic monomial. Once you get past that, I don't think this lesson should give you any trouble.